Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Star Citizen Pre-Alpha. And welcome to my new hangar, by the way. This is the upgraded version of hangar. This is the business class hangar. And it is, man, it's a far cry from that discount hangar, isn't it? That thing was awful. Dirty, dingy, dark, dreary, depressing. And look at this, bright, crisp, and clean. And a little more expensive. But at least you can see the ships now. So anyway, yeah, if you have not seen my earlier episode of Star Citizen, I do recommend you go back and see that. Or go watch it right now. I'll put a link down in the description below and possibly up there in the top left-hand corner. That's where I talk about the who's, what's, when's, where's, and why's of Star Citizen. And today, we're just going to take a look at 3 new spacecraft. Why am I talking so fast? Because it's late here and kids are coming home and I got to get moving. I won't talk that fast when we start looking at the ships. I'm sorry. All right, let's just back up a little bit here because there's some things, some clarifications I need to make from my last episode where I had derped a bit. So, clarification number 1. I think I had mentioned that this game is going to be multiplayer only. That's not the case. It's going to have a full single-player campaign. It's called Squadron 42. It's not available yet, but it will be during the alpha at some point. And it's a full-fledged, 100% single-player campaign. You never have to step in multiplayer if you don't want to. As far as the multiplayer goes, there will be the persistent universe that will be added sometime during the alpha beta stages, and that is a full-blown persistent multiplayer experience. So there's that. I think I had mentioned something about hard points and upgrade points, or upgrade slots rather. So upgrade slots and hard points are actually 2 different beasts. I kind of combined them all into one. I had them all under a single umbrella, but they are separate. The upgrade slots are actually internal upgrade components, I guess you could say, and that's like avionics, refinery tools, fuel tank, jump drives, shield generators. They're basically non-weapon systems, I guess mostly internal. And the hard points are external locations on the hull of the ship for things like weapons and tractor beams. That's a tractor beam right there. Okay, let's look at the ships. But before we do that, let me just put out a disclaimer there. Anything that you hear spew forth from my pie hole today in this video is subject to change. This is still pre-alpha. There's a lot changing. Even as I speak right now, by the time this video gets uploaded, something that I tell you about a ship today might actually be completely different by the time this video is uploaded to YouTube. So just keep that and bear that in mind. Do your own due diligence if you're about to make a pledge. Make sure that you're getting what you want. But I will, you know, the whole goal of this video is to give you kind of basic information, just a little direction, a little hand holding. But that's the best I can do. All the information that I get and I give to you here, I pull off of wikis and forum posts and dev posts and actually the official website as well. There's a ship spec site, and I'll put those links down below. But it might be outdated, it might change. Just know that, and don't shoot the messenger. Okay? You can try to shoot me in the game someday if you're like, hey man, you made me buy that 315p. I hate it. You told me the wrong info. Okay. Who wants to look at spaceships? Me. Me. Wait, come on, make noise there. You lightweight. There we go. Why am I wearing my space suit? I can't even fly. When you first start up the hangar, you wear that spacesuit, but you can put on your cash outfit, which I think is more appropriate for just walking around your hangar. It's much more comfortable and it has sidearms. Pew, pew, pew. All right. Anyway, yeah, I had a lot of coffee today. Sorry, this isn't like typical. Okay, so wasting time. Let's jump into the Origin 315p, Origin Jumpworks 315p, by the way. Now, there are 4 Origin Jumpworks 300 series of ships. Now, only 3 can be pledged for, and that's the 300i, which I showed you guys in the last episode, the 315p, which is this guy right here, and then the sleek black and red looking guy in the center, that's the 325a. And there's actually one more called the 350r, but that's not available for pledge anymore. So it must have been at one time, but it's been removed from the pledge site. It might come back, it might not. I don't know. It must have been available during the Kickstarter or something. Anyway. We're not going to talk about that one. But what we can talk about are the similarities between the 300s, just to get that out of the way. We'll talk about why these are similar and how they're similar, and then we'll look at each one individually and jump in and kick the tires and all that fun stuff. So, oh, let me back up. Now, I wrote notes. This is why I write notes, because I forget things. Now, when you're married and have 3 kids and have your own business and a dog and a wife and all that, you probably forget things too. So let me back up and just talk about what these pledges get you. So these are the $75 to $80 range pledges. In the prior episode, we looked at 40 to 45, right? So this is the next tier, the 3 ships in the next tier of pledges, and the pledges will get you, it's a whole package. It doesn't just get you the ship, but it gets you some other things as well. So let's talk about what comes in the pledges. So for $75 or $80, you will get, well, you get the discount hanger with the 2 300s. That's the only difference, really. So if you buy this 300 15p or the 325A, you get the discount hanger. That's the old hanger in the old episode, the prior episode. It's dark, it's dingy, it's awful, but it'll store your ship relatively safely and securely. That last ship there, that's the Aegis Avenger. We'll get to that eventually, but that one is why I have this business class hanger, because of that purchase. So basically, like I said I was going to do, I did trade in all the other ships. I melted them down, and you can do this anytime during the pre-alpha, as long as there are slots available, pre-alpha access slots. You can trade them in and get new ships, and that's exactly what I've done here. Okay, so all of these pledges come with, you know, the hanger, of course. You get that immediately. You can just download it as soon as you pay. And Alpha Beta Access, 2,000 UECs, that's United Earth Credits. That's a little starter cash to get you started out on your Star Citizen career or life or whatever, and you can buy some upgrades for your hangar and your ships, as far as I know. I actually haven't looked at the shop yet. I don't know what's there specifically, but all of these packages, whichever one you get, will come with 2,000 UECs. They all come with 4 months of ship insurance. So 4 free months of insurance will insure your ship against loss, theft, destruction, that kind of thing. So if anything happens to your ship, you get either that ship back or a cash to buy another one or something like that. And of course, the digital downloads of Squadron 42. That's a single player module when it's available. And also the Star Citizen module, which is going to be the multiplayer universe. So that's what comes with all these packages. Okay, now we can look at spaceships. Let's start with the 315P by Origin Jumpworks. So let's, I hate to do this again. Before we get to the nitty-gritty, let's step back one more time. Let's talk about the general role of a ship. The way Cloud Imperium has been designing these ships, in theory, and as far as I can tell, is that they're giving them a sort of a role, basic designation as far as a play style is concerned, and the features that it comes with, right off the factory floor, mind you, they support that particular playstyle. For example, the 315P is being built, and this is right off the official website, by the way, as a ship for exploration. It's built for exploration. It's got some features in here that lend themselves well to that sort of playstyle. So let's say you're an explorer, and you're the type of player in a role-playing game where you hop in a ship or on a horse or whatever, if it's a fantasy game or whatever, and you go off out into the wide world, and the frontier or the universe or whatever, and you just want to find cool stuff before anybody else finds it, or maybe just for your own pleasure. Find neat, cool alien artifacts. Just explore, see the sights, and then collect stuff and bring them home. That's an explorer. That's what explorers do. Then this is the type of ship that you would want. If you're a dogfighter, you want to shoot people out of the sky, then you might want the 325A. My bad, that's the 325A, or the Aegis Avenger. Or maybe you're a bounty hunter, or a smuggler, or a trader. So there's going to be all sorts of roles, and it's a good idea to have a basic role in your head before you make a pledge, before you lay down that hard-earned space bucks on a ship or a pledge, and kind of get a feel for what these ships are all about. And I'm going to try to do that in these videos. So it's not a hard, fast rule either. I mean, you can change these ships. They can be customized. You can have multiple ships. You can have 2 roles. You want maybe one you're a hardcore fighter guy, and then in another role you are a trader, or a freighter. You just carry stuff around, make deliveries, UPS. So that's up to you, but when you're making your first pledge, I think it's a good idea to approach it that way. Just say, okay, here's what I'm going to do, and then you find the ship that kind of meets that role. So all of the 300s do share some similarities. So let's get those out of the way, and then we'll look at the specific variations and the options of each one of these packages. So first and foremost, all the 300s have a one-person seat cockpit. You know, there's only one person can fly this ship. They have 8 tons of cargo capacity, all of them. They have a max power plant and shield value of 3. I don't know exactly what that means, but suffice it to say that the higher the value, the more or betterer, or at least more powerful of that particular function, whatever it happens to be. So a power plant and a max shield maxed at 3. Primary thruster is a TR4, and again, these are just values pulled right off of the website. TR4 being the certain amount of, the amount of thrust that this ship can generate. And again, the higher the value, the more thrust you would get, right? So those are just numbers pulled off the website, and you can look those up and read more about them if you like. I'm not going to go into great detail there, but I will at least tell you that those things are the same on all the 300s. The 300i, the 315p, the 325a, and I'm not exactly sure about the 350, but that you can't get right now anyway. As far as upgrade slots and hard points, they all have 6 upgrade slots. That's the internal components, as I had mentioned before, like avionics and refinery tools, that kind of thing. And they have 5 hard points, and we'll take a look at all the different hard points, because it's really the hard points and the upgrade slots that define these roles in sort of a, in a basic manner. But suffice to say, they all have 6 upgrade slots and 5 hard points. Okay, now we can see spaceships. So the 315p, as I had mentioned, is being billed as an explorer's ship. And why is that? Well, and I'm pulling this right off the website, it's because, and I quote, more robust power plant and a custom scanning package. And that is because this has custom installed modules that support that kind of a role. More specifically, this has a jump scanner, which I would imagine is going to give it more accurate jumping capability. And also, this hard point right here is filled or installed with a this is a tractor beam. And we're going to get more into the actual hard points in their classes. There are actually 8 classes of hard points. So this particular ship, the 315p, has some options installed that make it a better ship for exploration than, say, the 325 or the Aegis Avenger. And we'll see why in a moment. So this ship has 5 hard points, as I mentioned. Let's start with the Class 1 hard points. And the Class 1 hard points are these on the wingtips here. So you've got 2 Class 1 hard points, 1 on each wingtip. And they come factory installed. These options come factory installed. And this is a laser cannon. So a Class 1 hardpoint is a fixed hardpoint. It's a fixed location. It doesn't rotate. It doesn't move. It can only fire forward, you see. So you have to actually fly the ship and aim with the ship controls. And obviously you can't shoot behind or to the sides. That's a Class 1 hardpoint. A Class 2 hardpoint would be... is that a Class 2? Yes. Yes, this is a Class 2 right here on the nose. And I'm just trying to read my notes here. So a Class 2 hardpoint is one that is articulated. So it can move on a kind of a limited range of motion, a limited arc. So I don't know how much this turns or moves around, but that's what they call it. It's articulated. So it does have a little more flexibility than the Class 1. Currently installed here is a tractor beam, which again is a handy device for an explorer, salvager type player to have to pull in wreckage and so forth. Or maybe help people that are out lost in space. And a Class 3 right here actually has 2 Class 3s up in the wing box. You can see that support right there, which is obviously empty at the moment, but you can install Class 3 hardware here. So anyway, this does have a compartment, a sleeping compartment, which is going to be super handy when you're out exploring, particularly, I should say, on a ship that's designed for exploration, because you're going to be flying out in space in no man's land, right? Or no alien land. And uncharted parts of the universe, and there may not be a friendly base around, so you want to log out when it's time for dinner and you don't want to have to fly all the way back to you know, a friendly planet or something, a friendly system. So that will allow you to log out in space. That's what the beds are for. So we'll get a bed. Yay! All the 300s do. So that's pretty much it. We don't really need to look at anything else in there, do we? Or do you want to see it? You want me to sit in the cockpit? I mean, all the 300s kind of look the same. I'll get in the cockpit and we'll do a quick bird's eye view from above and everything. Oh no, sorry. I just didn't want this video to go too long, but we got it. Hop in here, and we'll do a 3D view here. Third-person view, rather. And now, here's where this gets a little tricky. This is a pre-alpha thing. I can only, when I move my mouse, I can only go side by side. I can't go up and down. Whoops, what happened there? I didn't press anything, did I? So that's the exterior view from behind. It's the front view. That's me. Hi. And we can spin it around and look as well. I just love the detailing on this. I know I've mentioned that about 100 times already. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous game. It's not even optimized yet. So there I am with all these panels around me. And all these panels are going to go live eventually. And let me just do something quickly here, because for some reason, when you're in the cockpit, it does not support inverted mouse. And I can only play with inverted mouse. And that goes back to the days of flight sims and, well, geez, like Doom. I haven't outgrown it yet. So all of these panels and systems and readouts and charts will be real-time graphical representations of your ship systems. Right now they don't work because it's alpha, but at least I can show them to you like this. That's going to be amazing. I'm going to have to get a flight stick for this, you guaranteed. Let's take a look at the 325A, and once again, this is generally the same as far as dimensions and shape, upgrade points and hard points, all the same numbers. The biggest difference being, as I had mentioned, is in the options, and obviously the paint job. So let's take a look at the hard points, because that's really where it counts. Oh, no, let's back up and let's talk about the general roll here. And I've got that written down. 325A. Oh, this is $80, by the way. So that one's $75 for the whole pledge. That includes all those bonus perks that I mentioned earlier. That's $75, and this one's just $5 more. And this is being described as, excuse me, a stylish interdiction craft. Interdiction. Yep, stop giggling, kids. Interdiction in military terms is the act of delaying, disrupting, or destroying the enemy or their supply lines, leading to you know, a crucial location in battle, typically the front lines. So this is a fast ship with guns, essentially, and it's useful for that type of a role. So if you want to be in a squadron, a military squadron, or a patrol, maybe working for a corporation or a planet government or something like that, and you want to interdict, then this would be a good thing for that. A good ship for that, a good vessel, because it has a lot of guns and it's pretty fast. So why don't we take a look at the hard points. It's got the same hard points as the 315P. Once again, it's got 5 hard points. It has the same laser cannons and the wingtips. It's got the nose hard point, class 2 hard point, is actually populated on the 325A with a weapon system. And this particular weapon is, and I wrote this down so I could tell you exactly what it is. It's a mass driver cannon. So it's a 35mm ballistic weapon. And you can use, it'll actually take multiple types of ammunition. So maybe like armor piercing, for example. So it's not going to be energy based, which means it's probably going to have a lower profile as far as like scanning is concerned. So you might be able to reduce your profile in space. So you might be a little bit more difficult to detect. But of course, on the flip side of that coin, you're going to have to store ammunition. So it takes bullets. And bullets take space, and they weigh, and you have to refill them, right? You've got to buy more, and you've got to store more. But it's a beaut. It's a beaut. And again, this is on the class 2, so this is articulated and it pivots slightly. Doesn't have a a wide range of motion, but it's definitely more useful than the straight-on class 1s. All right, let's take a look at the wing box. Class 3. This is the pylon. This is the rigid structure on the exterior of an aircraft. I just learned that, by the way. I'm not really a big aircraft or spaceship guy. I love sci-fi. I like science fiction, movies, literature, games, but I'm not an aficionado of spacecraft in every term. I'm learning, and I'm happy to learn so I can relay that information to you guys if you don't already know. But there's probably a lot of people out there that know, you know, every bolt on an aircraft, and they're probably giggling at me and face palming. So sorry, but you know, I'm new at this, and we'll get better because I really want to learn. I think knowing more about your spaceship is going to enhance your enjoyment of the game, to be honest. And I've never really gotten this excited about a space game or spaceship. So this is, I'm telling you, I'm all in. As I said before, if this were a card game, Texas Hold'em, I'm all in. So now this again is the Pylon, the Class 3, and it holds right now missiles. And I wrote down the name of this because it sounds kick butt. Dun, 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 dun. 325 is Talon Stalker IR. IR stands for image recognition. Can I get up there? Because I'd like to get a closer look. So it has image recognition, which means it can lock on a target, and it's got a rack of 2 missiles on each side. So there's the same thing on the other side. I don't think I'm going to be able to get up there. Maybe if I get up on... Oh, there's no catwalk in the business hangar. It's all glass, man. The second floor is all glass. All right, here we are. We're in. We're in. So I might be able... Oh, I can climb out here. Oh, but dang it. Okay, look at that. So this is a pair of missiles. And maybe this is the camera, the image recognition camera right there, that bright light is my guess. But once again, very detailed, really beautiful. And from my standpoint right here, it looks like it looks real. It might work. So pretty cool. Can we climb? I can climb. I need to work more on my climbing skill here. Oh, I'm on the ship. All right, I'm not going to sit in the cockpit of this one. It's pretty much the same as the other one. But is that not the coolest? I can walk on my ship. Oh, look at the cannon here, laser cannon. Looks a lot bigger up here, doesn't it? Yeesh. Yeah, when you get that scale, it's like, wow, it's bigger than I thought. Go ahead and say it. You know you want to say it. And finally, this has a custom installed targeting system. So unlike the 315P, which has the jump scanner installed option, right, which makes it more of an exploring type vehicle, this one has a custom targeting system, which makes it more of a interdiction type vehicle. So it's going to be better at combat, obviously. So keep that in mind before you make your pledge. All right, well, that's the 325A, everybody. Interdiction craft. And last but not least is the Aegis Avenger. The Aegis Avenger is $75. I'm going to sound like a salesman here. I'm just going to read this. This is from the brochure. It is an interceptor/interdiction vessel. That's the description of the basic role. And it has a long and storied life as a UEE police/patrol craft. The UEE being the United EE. I looked that up before, but I forgot what it means. I didn't write it down. But it's basically an old police and patrol craft that I guess has been prepared for civilian use. I don't know if it's been repurposed for civilian use or if this is actual civilian version of the actual police craft. But this is kind of the lore in the background that you guys can look up on your own and get involved in. I haven't really read that much about it yet just because I lack the time. But it sounds really cool. So let's talk about the basics here, and then we'll look at the actual hard points, because that's where the cool stuff be. All right, so the hull, it's a bit more compact than the 300 series, but it is heavier. So it's a brute. It carries about 10 tons, or will be able to carry 10-ton cargo capacity. That's the maximum capacity, in other words. It is a one-person seater. It has 4 upgrade slots. Those are the internal components, so 2 less than the 300. Something to keep in mind. And it has 5 hard points, external hard points. So the same number of hard points as the as a 300s, but they're different classes, so we'll get into that in a moment. It has a max power plant of 3, which is the same as a 300. And here's this could be a big deal, and this is why it's an interceptor, folks. It has a primary thruster value of TR5. So the 300 has a 4. These 300s have 4. This is a 5. So it's got an actual higher power thruster. So most likely that means it's going to have faster acceleration capability and interception capability. That's why it's being built as an interceptor. So you'll be able to catch up to others faster or easier or more efficiently or what have you. Though it doesn't have the same maneuverability as a 300. So it's more of a straight shooter. If you want to hit your TR5 thrusters and go, baby, it'll go straight. But it might not have the same mobility as the 300s, and that might be a consideration for you. So that's something to think about. And you'll have to look into that more. I don't really know the specifics, but it is an interceptor craft. And now to the hard points. So 5 hard points in the Aegis Avenger. It has 3 class 1 hard points, and this is one right here on the wing tips, or just under the wingtip anyway. And this is a distortion cannon. So there's 2 of them. There's one on this side and one on the other. So that looks like some sort of a laser cannon. Now it also has over here another class 1, and this is called, and I'm trying to read this and move at the same time. This is called a Kruger Tiger Strike T21 on the nose, and this looks like a ballistic weapon, doesn't it? This looks like it shoots bullets. That's my guess. The only information I have about this right now is that it's called a Kruger Tiger Strike T21. It's on the nose. This is also a class 1. So it does not, this is not articulated. Apparently this doesn't move. Although it looks like it does, doesn't it? It sort of looks like that from this vantage point, but according to the specs page, this is a class 1, which means it's fires straight forward and does not have any other range of motion. So, all right, and finally, oh, there are no class 2 on the Aegis Avenger. No class 2. Instead, it skips right to class 3, and it's got 2 of those under the wing. Talon Strike. These guys right here, the missiles, and maybe get a better view here in 3rd person. These are called Talon Stalker IR image recognition missiles. Again, these lock on the target and hopefully blow them up. And again, anything that I'm showing you right here and these hard points and internal upgrade slots are all they're factory installed options. So if you walk in, you buy this model right off the floor, this is what you get. But you can also, you know, eventually customize these things. You can, in fact, you can do it right here. If you have multiple ships, we can go over to the ship panel, which I'm not going to show you in this episode because this episode is already too long. But you can remove weapons and systems from one ship and move it on to another, as long as the classes match, right? So anyway, oh, let's get in. Let's get in. And now this one's kind of funky the way you get in it. You're going to go in through the rear hatch, which is kind of cool. I love that. It's just a little hatch that falls down, lowers, and then you can climb in. And this is apparently the cargo space, which is quite a bit. It has these hoses leading out. I don't see the ends, but they must be used for some sort of maybe cryo or keeping something cold or warm, or who knows. We'll find out. I love that spin motion right there. And you climb up here. There's a short hallway to the cockpit. And this is interesting. Now, it doesn't say that this has a bed on the specs page, but what does that look like to you? I'm thinking 2 things. It could potentially be a private bed, right? So I could probably sleep in there. Or it could be some sort of prison chamber. Maybe a cryo sleep chamber where if we're interdicting or rather intercepting, we might be hunting down bad guys, chasing them down, disabling their ship, and then pulling them in somehow. Or maybe we'll fly to a base and grab a prisoner and transport them around. And now we go into the cockpit. And there we go. And that's the external view of the Aegis Avenger. It's very nice. It's me. Hello. All right, folks, I think we're going to call it quits here. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comments. There's a lot of knowledgeable people out there that watch these videos that are Star Citizen fanatics. I shouldn't say fanatics. They're fans, and they're just more knowledgeable fans. I wish I were in my Origin Jumpworks 325A right now. Cruising the universe. Picking up chicks. Stopping off at the Star Bars and putting down a few Starbucks. But no, not today. Today I've got to bring the kids to soccer. And then I got to rake leaves. I think I'll bring the van. Yeah, let's go get the minivan. That would have been a great commercial. Somebody call Origin Jumpworks. Anyway, this is the business hangar I want to show you guys quickly before this video ended. So, yeah, pretty nice up here. It's all glass. Nice and bright. Padded walls. Ow! 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 Good thing, too. Alright, we're out of here. I'm out of here. We'll see y'all